Okay, welcome everybody to this evening's live forex market webinar. My name is Duncan Cooper. Before we get into it, I'll just take you through what webinars are coming up at ACY Securities this week. So tonight is forex trading live market analysis. Then tomorrow we have how to use the MACD indicator in the bull and bear market. That's the 12th. And then on the 13th, Thursday, we have more live market analysis, and it's a little bit out of date sync, but as well on Wednesday, after the Wednesday webinar at 7, we have the inner circle. So if you'd like to get access to that, you can just register at the webinar registration page, or I will have the link on Wednesday. So as we finish the 7 p.m. webinar, I can give you a link to move into the 8 o'clock webinar. Now in the inner circle, we normally have people on the mic talking to me and Nathan, if you want to talk to both of us, but predominantly myself, anything to do with your trading. So if you want to join us, if you've got the ability to talk on a mic as well, then come along. We'll be talking to people, talking about trading, talking about the market, and anything to do with your trading, we'll do our best to help you with as you're progressing on your journey. So that's that webinar there, 8 p.m. Wednesday. All right, just bear with me one moment. Might have a slight technical issue. All right, I think I'm all good. All right, so we will just progress along here. If you don't know me, my name is Duncan Cooper. I'm just getting you to read through the disclaimer before we move along. If you're on our YouTube live stream, I cannot see the chat, but you're more than welcome to join us in the webinar. I've given you the link there. For those in the webinar, read through the disclaimer. Any messages you have or questions to the chat box or the question-answer box, I've got both of those open in my view. Azu, hello to you. All right, so let's give you a few more seconds to read through that as we start a new trading week. I can maybe see a few new names on there as well, so welcome. All right, we'll move along. So for those that are new, my name is Duncan Cooper. I'm a senior market strategist and trading mentor here at ACY Securities, and I'm a full-time forex trader. I've been trading the market now for more than 15 years, mentoring for more than 10. If you want to contact me, my email is there on screen, duncan.cooper@acy.com. Through the week, you can connect with me on our website. Go to acy.com, go to the market news tab. You'll see my analysis there. Or on our YouTube channel, go to ACY Securities Australia. Or you can connect with me on Twitter and LinkedIn. Those are my handles. And through the week, if you want to get access to our Telegram channel, where we're putting analysis in and through, just contact Nathan and Bray to get access to that. I'll put his details in the chat now. As well, if you want to get access to my MT4 chart layouts and templates, just contact Nathan. So anything at ACY, just contact Nathan. If you want to set up a demo account, questions about a live account, just contact Nathan. These details are there in the chat. All right, so first up, we'll do what we normally do. We'll have a look at the news coming out over the next few days. So we've just had the Euro GBPNZD economic sentiment, which isn't a red calendar event, but I can see on my other screen the Euro is moving back below 110 at the moment. So coming up tomorrow, there's nothing more for the day. Coming up tomorrow on noon for New Zealand, we have their interest rate decision. Not expecting any change there, but you never know what might come around. It's going to be volatile then. Governor Lowe speaking at 110, Bank of England Governor Bay speaks at 6. But the big one for the week, well, there's two big ones for the week, but this is the first one, the US CPI data coming out tomorrow evening. So it's going to be difficult to hold a trade through then. But that's up to you what you do. I will just discuss trends and analysis tonight, and you can determine as to whether you want to be in the market when the news comes out. Of course, as well, we also have there on the midnight moving into Thursday. Canada has their interest rate decision, expecting 25 basis point rise there too. And then further in Thursday, 10:30 p.m., we have the US core PPI and PPI, so more inflation data there. So I'm expecting tomorrow evening that inflation will drop down year on year from 4 to 3.1. So we'll have to wait and see. At the moment, we're getting US dollar weakness in anticipation maybe of a good drop in inflation, which may mean that maybe they're peaking with their interest rates. We'll have to wait and see on that front, okay? All right, so let's have a look around the charts. Got the dollar index here. If you look at the weekly chart, it's getting more down than mixed at the moment. We may be having a further lower top to a lower bottom forming here. So it's looking very suspicious, like this is moving down to at least test the bottom of the range. 2 weeks ago, it was looking like it's moving up to the top of the range. This is how difficult the market is at the moment on a number of pairs, with this US dollar not being certain in its direction. So the day chart is definitely in downtrend. It's a bit overextended. It could do with a rally back up to maybe putting a lower top now, but it's heading down towards potentially the 10082 level. So, the 100 level there on the dollar index. And pairs to US dollar moving up with that moving down. So S&P 500 still holding its day chart trend here. It's had a 62% pullback. Nice rejection yesterday. So this could be putting in its next higher bottom for a continued move up there at the 62 level. All right, so we are definitely seeing a little bit better of correlation. US dollar is now declining and the indice is moving up. Now seeing what's happening with the yen pairs. Well, we'll get to the yen pairs as we move through. So I'll cover all the major yen crosses as we go through, okay? All right, first up, we'll go and hop into the euro dollar, which has been moving up this week. It's coming up a little bit short of the 1033 level, which is this weekly area over here. But from the weekly perspective here, we are moving into, if there was a doubt that we're putting in a lower top here, we've traded above it today. So that's putting this weekly perspective back into an uptrend here. You just have to be aware that we're trading into an area which has been high resistance, a struggle for the market to move up and beyond. So 110.33 is the level where we've been really struggling at, and then the high of the year is at 110.95. Now, we may move through this area this time, but it could still be a struggle. But the day chart here has popped up out of its range that it's been in. So I put out on Telegram this morning, looking for a pullback maybe to the 109.76 to 70 level. So I've dropped to the 4-hour chart here. This area here, we're overextended at the moment on the 4-hour chart, but the 4-hour trend is remaining up. So I will be looking for a dip at the moment. And the 62 level overlaps nicely with this old daily resistance at 109.76. Let's drop it down to the 15. All right, so we're just having a bit of a pullback against that 4-hour trend. Now, of course, if you thought we're fading up here for the final time at just short of 110.33, now would be a good time to sell as we're breaking below 110. But at the moment, I'm just keeping my head with the weekly trend and the day trends are up. And I'm going to need to see a bit more of a significant change than just 1 or 2 hours down. So at the moment, I'm just looking for a pullback to the support area here. 62 level overlaps with the 109.76 level day support, and there's day support at 109.70. So at the moment, I'm just looking for pullback. Can that hold? Can you see a setup to buy? Or then a move back up to challenge 110.33. Okay. Now, through the course of the week, if I see a clear, we go back up to 110.33 on the next move up and we really struggle, I may have to start to shift my viewpoint in terms that we can't move through 110.33 and then maybe look to trade down. But at the moment, I'm keeping with what I'm seeing on the higher time frame trends. Weekly, day and 4-hour charts are all in an uptrend. So I'm just looking for a pullback at the moment there. All right, first yen pair. We're definitely seeing pairs to the yen are selling off. So the yen is getting stronger in the face of this US dollar weakness. Whether or not that's going to be a long-term deal or it's just, I mean, at the moment, it's just corrective against the weekly trend that we've been seeing. So if you look at the weekly chart here on the euro yen, You know, you could be monitoring this weekly upward move as it corrects. 62 levels just underneath support here. Your day chart trend has turned down, and we did actually come back up and revisit 156.68. I said that on the weekend, watch for price to come back and maybe use that now as resistance, and it did it perfectly yesterday. So yesterday offered you a perfect short in line with the day trend, which is going against the weekly trend at the moment. All right, so long term, if this weekly trend does not change its overall structure, we're just having a corrective pullback at the moment. And whilst this is going into a day downtrend, don't forget where the long-term picture is unless proven different. So longer term, I'm just looking for this to come down maybe to weekly support, 151.61. Maybe just snip through to the 62 level. But don't forget, this is in a higher time frame uptrend. This is just going to be corrective at the moment. And it might be worthwhile planning ahead to where can that next weekly higher bottom come in and get yourself set for maybe the next long-term move up long term. We still have the definite carry trade scenario here where, you know, Eurozone's raising its interest rates, the yen side isn't. So yes, we're trading down at the moment, and there could still be no 300 pips worth of move down here, but be aware of what the high time frame trend is. So this is a bit overextended on the day chart at the moment. And whilst we did pull back to resistance, we didn't actually have a day up and create a lower top. So I would be dragging fib from the lower top form there to the low as it keeps moving down, looking for a corrective move. Now we could well come back up to the 62 level, which is where we came back up to yesterday, and retest that level once more to put in a lower top on the day chart. All right, so on the day chart, wherever we might put a bottom in, assuming we put a bottom in, we could just have two large straight days down. We could be at 151.61, but I'll be looking for a move, a retracement. Look to sell a retracement, okay? If it doesn't happen on the day chart, then drop to your 4-hour chart ranges. Use this range here. All right, but don't get caught selling the bottom of the current move. You're either looking for a 4-hour retracement to the 62.79% level or the day chart range at the moment, okay? Don't have the fear of missing out. You've already missed getting in. You should have been getting in yesterday up here when there was a 62 to 79% retracement, almost a 79% retracement in there at daily resistance. That was where you should have shorted yesterday. You could have been out with your profit by now. So now you're waiting for the next rally to occur. All right, so be patient and just monitor. So going with the day chart trend, that's down, but be mindful of where the weekly trend is, and you might want to start to plan where that weekly bottom could come in for the next long-term move up. Okay. Euro pound. Pound dollar stronger than the euro dollar. And we're seeing a definite euro pound weakness. It's struggling in this support area of sorts, monthly support, weekly support. We did manage to close below monthly support last week, but we did trade back above yesterday. Yesterday was really the time to sell when we rejected weekly resistance being old support over here at 85.65. So it's almost back, it's almost down to the next support level here. So it's not in a great position to be a trade at the moment. So on the 4-hour chart, looking for a rally would be great. So, you know, looking to sell nowhere close to support. So we'll be drawing a fib across the current range. If that's where it lows, then the 62% retracement overlaps nicely with monthly potential resistance now at 85.47. So you always look to sell a rally. Don't be selling into supports. And monitor the euro dollar and the pound dollar. You know, when you just look at them, which one looks the strongest? Because if we start to see a shift on those two pairs, we could bottom out down here. So I don't like to be selling too close to support. So I would need to see a rally there, 85.47 would be an ideal area to see a rally. Even if you hit support, we could hit support. We're still going down as I'm talking. And we could hit support. We could rally back up then to resistance and then trade down. So whilst you could be using the fib, really the key level is 85.47, the broken monthly level support. Does it offer a retest failure there? Don't get caught selling in support. All right, pound dollar. These are my markings from this morning. Never had a pullback. So I'm still looking for a pullback. I'm not going to buy at the top of a move. Now to the day charts, back to the weekly chart. We have this imbalance over here that I've been discussing for about 2 weeks. I put it out last week that on our Telegram that we could be heading towards 130, filling this weekly imbalance here. And I said last week, watch for pullback to weekly support. We got that pullback, I think it was Thursday or Friday last week, one or two. And on the weekend, I said, watch for pullback to day support, which we got yesterday. And of course, now we've broken above weekly resistance. So there has been great opportunities to get long, but right where it is at the moment isn't the best opportunity. So yesterday, you can see it dipped down to day support. Last Thursday, it dipped down to weekly support. So there was a great opportunity down at 126.79, which, you know, we are 200 pips up from there now, heading towards 130. All right, so we're a bit overextended, both in the day chart and the 4-hour chart. So you need to look for a dip. Here's your 4-hour chart, and you can see on the 4-hour chart, from the 4-hour fib tool scenario analysis, we are in the profit-taking area of the fib tool. So, you know, you have to fight your battles. Don't be buying at the top of the move. Yes, we can still move up, but in terms of probability, it's low. Look for a dip, 62 level, 79 level. Let's just see what does or doesn't overlap. All right, now I like to look at overlaps with the 62 level and the 79 level. I would like to look at the 12800 level if it overlaps with a fib. It's a little bit naked there on its own at the moment. So at the moment, I would just be monitoring that range, looking ideally if we can get a pullback to 62 to 79% area. That's 128.12 down to 127.84. Just watching that area to see if it can pull in. Do you see a reversal back to the upside and set up to buy? Okay. Now, if we keep moving up today, we may well not be able to pull back into this lower area. Then this weekly resistance level, 128.48, could become the support area to watch. All right. So, in fact, that could still be the support area to watch today, but I just prefer to have a deeper dip. So price could simply now be failing at 129 for a pullback to weekly support, and that could definitely hold, seeing as we haven't been able to dip all day, or we could get the deeper retracement to the normal 62.79% level. So I'll be monitoring those levels for a pullback. All right, but it's in a very strong uptrend at the moment. If you want to go counter trend, we are potentially failing at 129 on 2 hits today, but we may only get a short dip today. So it's always difficult when we're getting short dips when you're looking for technical Fibonacci pullbacks and they don't come. But we'll just have to wait and see. You know, it took most of the week last week. If I go back to my day chart, I was looking for a pullback to 126.79. I had to wait 3 days. All right, for that pullback. I said on the weekend, watch for a pullback today, support that happened yesterday in 1 day. So there's always a time frame of monitoring and can it come back to the best level. All right, it's great. It'd be great if you could just jump on your charts and everything's at the level that you want right now, but that's not the way it works. All right, so it was a game of patience and planning out where would be the most ideal spot, and then waiting to see if price will do what you want. All right, pound yen. Now this line here, 180.41, with the very positive currency, the pound, and the carry trade, but the very positive side of the pound at the moment. Whilst this is having a pullback, it's nowhere near pulling back the same as the other yen crosses. And on the monthly chart, we are pulling potentially back towards this broken level of resistance, 180.41 here. And we are hitting a weekly level of resistance at the moment. I'll squash this in. I just have to correct myself where I thought there's a weekly level in here, but it's actually higher up. So we're at daily levels at the moment. The weekly level, which I've got up here higher up, 180.80, but that's also a month level. I thought there was one in here, but it must have been a different pair I was thinking of. So at the moment, the next major level of resistance up here, 188.80. Clearly, we haven't got there yet. So potentially the monthly level, which is here, 180.41 could be support now that we've broken above it. So you can see it here in the day charts. Coming down, we haven't got down to it yet. And you can see when we moved above, last month, it became support in this area. So this area here, I'm going to color it in. I'm going to put a line on the below there, 179.91.7. So from 180.41 to 179.91, this area here, that could be strong support. That might be as far as the pound yen can correct before it resumes its trend. All right. And I don't know if I'm that excited about shorting the pound yen. The pound dollar is very strong. Unless the dollar yen significantly starts to sell off and all the other yen crosses really get going, this may only be able to pull back to that area that I'm showing you there. So we're not that far away. We're only actually about 70 pips away, so from the first level. So I'll be watching that area for potential support this week. 180.41 to 179.91. All right, so head over to Aussie yen, which, I said last month, would be on the monthly chart here form hold and form some form of head and shoulder at 96.87. Now it was very strong moving up, but clearly it's been held there. And the weekly is actually, last week was very naughty. It went up half of the week and then went down. It's actually putting a little minor at the lower top there, changing that weekly trend potentially to down. However, this is a level to watch in terms of where can it move below this level, 93.03, or is it going to hold there? And then, that's the last long-term move up there. This move here is corrective at the moment, and we may only correct down to this level what we clearly broke above, 93.03. So we'll be watching that level long-term for an opportunity for a reversal back up. Of course, at the moment on the day chart, trend is moving down. Now we are 5 days negative here. So it's getting very long in the tooth. And if we're going to continue down long term, I would anticipate that you need to watch for a pullback to broken support. Daily is here, 95.13. The much more ideal level would be this weekly top over here at 95.73, because that lines up with the 62 area here. So watching for that to move up, trade down would be great, whether or not the market will offer that. If you're prepared to still engage after 5 days down without seeing some kind of quality pullback, then look at your 4-hour chart. There's the last swing top to bottom. Monitor a pullback on the 4-hour range, which looks like this on the 15-minute chart. All right. Look to the 62 or the 79 and see where the market starts to hold. Look to sell a rally. If you're prepared to, still be a seller after, what did I say, 5 days down. It probably needs 1 or 2 days up to continue the trend down. If it doesn't pull back and it hits 93.03, I'd then be watching 93.03 for support. And we're only 66 pips away from support. So whether or not we can get a pullback, I don't know. But if we can't get a pullback, you want to be clearly watching this area here to be support. All right. Aussie, which is very range bound to the day chart. I don't need these on. I was using those for something else the other day. But these are my levels. 66.04 is day support. That's forming the bottom of this tight range of 100 pips. And 67.05's resistance. In fact, it's coming in a little bit now at 6,700. All right. I was anticipating that maybe we're going to break above 67.05 this week to become support straight up to 68, but it's not happening at the moment. But you can see, well, I was looking at this as a higher bottom forming, but now maybe we're forming a lower top. So this is very mixed. Okay, Johannes, I'll get to the dollar yen as I move through the charts. So at the moment, very mixed. I will be looking, it actually has more of an upward bias than a downward bias from the bias of the weekly chart here. Potentially a higher top and a higher bottom forming here. So I would much prefer to look down at 66.04 if we can get a dip to trade back up to the top of the range. Trading down from the top of the range when that weekly trend is kind of looking up might mean that we can't trade down and you're short and you're wrong. So I'd much rather structure a trade at the moment to the long side rather than the short side. This is a little bit mixed. Looks like it's forming a lower top and you've got a higher bottom. All right, so I would just be sitting on my hands at the moment. In fact, I've been sitting on my hands for a week on this pair, looking to see if we can come down into this area here. Deep. I've been looking for a deep push into this area because of that weekly range there. Got the 79% level a bit lower down. So I've just been looking for a deeper move into this area. Day support 66.04, weekly support 65.73, but not quite coming. And I don't want to be buying too close to 67.05. So just biding my time. Maybe the market will at least come down to 66.04 this week and be supportive. So I'm just watching down here. And that might come around when we get the CPI data tomorrow. Never know what comes out. It might come out a little bit US dollar strength on first blush. And we might see a dip and then the market could hold. And we could be trading up from 66.04 for the rest of the week. So I'm just watching there at the moment. All right, cover the euro pairs, the pound pairs, New Zealand yen. All right. Definitely discussed that level last week. Wasn't expecting such a hefty sell-off, but we're getting it. But we're holding here monthly resistance 89.68, and the level that we moved above, well, clearly we're moving back below 88.16. All right, now the weekly trend is actually still up, but that's very negative in the current week. And even if we're going to hold the trend long term, from the weekly chart perspective, you want to be looking, for a 62% dip, 79% dip, 85, 84, 84, 80, and then do we start to hold? So I think this is probably going to do its normal thing and pull back to a 62, 79% level. So whilst it's doing that, looking for an opportunity to sell, it would be great. This is very overextended on the daily. We're moving below that bottom there to a lower bottom. So drawing a fib, as that comes down, draw a fib. So whilst the weekly trend is up, I mean, there's always the possibility that this very strong sell-off, and like we're getting on the Aussie yen, is more of a sell-off than just a correction. So if it has a nice rally back up, they've got monthly resistance here at 88.16. You've got day resistance there at 88.51, which overlaps perfectly with the 62 level. So if we can see a nice rally, monthly resistance or day resistance, and then it starts to hold, we could see the first significant lower top form for, a deep decline. And that deep decline there, like for example to there, where we started this move up here, will overlap with the weekly 62 to 79% area. Okay, so that could be how price is going to pan out. But if you want to short it down into this area, you don't want to short the bottom of the move. You want to look for a rally, because the lower this moves down and you're not in yet and you sell, the closer you get to the bottom. So look for a rally. Okay, that's how I'll be looking for a rally at the moment. All right, we also have the interest rate decision coming out for the New Zealand. So being in this pair or the New Zealand dollar ahead of that news item, if you're just getting in, is a little bit dangerous. All right, New Zealand dollar is doing nothing too much. It just can't hold its life above the 62.03 daily resistance level there on the day chart. It's coming from over this side here. All right. There is the question on the weekly chart that we're putting in a higher bottom. So maybe we have a higher bottom, we have a lower top, and maybe we have a higher bottom. So things are getting very mixed on that time frame. And you can see here on the day chart, it just doesn't want to move with any conviction above 62.03. All right. Now, after tomorrow's news, the interest rate decision and the CPI data, well, I'm sure it might sort things out a little bit for the pair, but at the moment it's just trading between approximately 62.03 and 61.10 weekly support. So if you want to trade this pair ahead of tomorrow, I think the goal would be to try to look to trade as close as you can to 62.03 day resistance. All right. This is the 50-minute chart, 62.03, 6200, because that's your day resistance level. You could look for a higher rally, use the high of the day to the current low, just keep dragging it down if it keeps moving down. And you could see if you could get a nice 79% retracement up to 62.15 at the moment is the level. Of course, it would have to get above 62.03, but you've got all these resistance points to the left as well, where we've been failing over the last 2 or 3 trading days. All right, so look to sell a rally. I never look to sell the bottom of a move, whether it's a day chart move, an intraday move, look to sell a corrective move. So, that's definitely the level, 62.03. That's where we are trying to move above and can't get above with any conviction, but you could try to see if it could get up to 62.15 to put in an intraday lower top area there. Dollar Canadian. Now, the weekly trend is down. We haven't been able to get up to like a 62% retracement. Been up to the 50 level. We did just close above monthly support here, 32.62, and we're just above it now. So the actual monthly chart is down, the weekly trend is down, but we're getting just enough buying pressure to keep above that monthly low there. Very wicky on the last 2 candles. So I don't know if that's the final top, but it could be to continue the move down. The key thing you need to watch for at the moment, we've got interest rate decisions for this pair Thursday midnight. Difficult to be holding a position when that comes out. So we have a mix. The weekly trend is down. We have, this is the weekly range, 50% retracement. More commonly, we go to a 62 or 79. So is there still more upside? And we're holding above the monthly low here. We've actually stayed below it today, but we're back above it. And on the daily range, because the day trend is up at the moment, the pullback within this day chart uptrend is just pulled back to 79. So are we finding some support down at 79 here? See how we 2 4-hour candles there dipped below the 132.62 monthly support level, and we're back above. So there is the potential here that support's coming in there in the fib area to see this come up to test last week's high. So the line in the sand for the pair, you could be a buyer or a seller. You could be waiting for price to break clearly below 132.62, and then you look to that level to be resistance. Or if your mode of operation is to be on the buy side, well, you're looking for 132.62 to be support, and you're 5 pips away from it at the moment. So if you want to be a buyer trading very close to support at the moment, now is your time. You know, what's your setup? What do you need? What time frame do you need to tell you, okay, we're holding on support there to trade up? We've got a 4-hour reversal candle there. We've had a swing point break to the upside on the 15-minute chart, and we would have had a trend line break through that area too. So lower time frame charts are telling you that we're moving up from support at the moment. What do you need as your trigger? So the day trend is going in the upward way, heading towards maybe the weekly 62% retracement, 79% retracement. On the other side of the coin, the weekly trend is quite clearly down and the monthly trend is quite clearly down. So 132.62 is the level to watch. Do you want to trade up from it, or do you want to trade down from it? What side of the market you're on? All right. Personally, with the US dollar weakness that we're seeing, I have a hard time myself thinking about being a dollar Canadian buyer, especially with the interest rates going up as well. I'll be more in tune to look for price to want to hold below 132.62 and then look to trade that as resistance. But price action isn't doing that right now. So if that's your thought process like mine is, I would have to wait. All right, dollar franc is come down and tested weekly support. Here's your weekly chart. This is the long-term bottom of the range here. Here's the bottom of the range. Monthly support at 87.57. I actually thought, 2 months ago we were starting to hold here, but clearly things, it was a 1 month wonder of strength there on support. So weekly trends down, testing weekly support, your day trends down. Yesterday was a perfect day where it came up intraday to retest broken support here. All right. Now price might come back up to broken supports. At the moment, I can't sell into support, but this is a strong downtrend, so I'm not going to look to buy it on support. But I would need to see at the moment to sell, price to come back up to here. All right, to move down. And it's not going, I don't think it's going to offer me that today. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Now from a 4-hour chart perspective, there's your 4-hour range. You could monitor a pullback to the 62 level. That's quite a nice level at 88.76 because also last week's low. All right, so that is in the bad area, coming back to 88.76. 62% level on the 4-hour chart, overlapping with last week's low. It's worth watching that. Be a better level up there at 89.01, your broken weekly level support, but the market might not offer that. Yesterday it tested that area. That was the time to look at that area to trade down. All right, getting into dollar yen. Dollar yen is coming into the area I put out this morning, where I said we might come down and test daily support. There's a couple of levels there on support. You see this consolidation area. We were consolidating here and then we broke up. We often come back to the area of consolidation, the point of the break. So that's where we're at. Now your weekly trend is quite clearly up. All right, so this is a very nice area of support. There's another area further down at 137.90, which is weekly support. We've had a long weekly move up here. We've only had 2 weeks down after about what, at least 10 or 12 weeks up. So we may see a much more healthier move down than 2 weeks. You know, there's the weekly upward move. 60, if I get a 62% retracement level, that's much more overlapping with 135.16. That 135.16 is a monthly level of support. If you go to your monthly chart, squash it in, it's this area here. So we could be moving down to that area maybe. All right. We can have 4 weeks down and not change this weekly trend at all. We have a higher top, higher bottom. It's just a very long move up. It can pull back without changing the dominant trend. To the daily, we've moved to a lower bottom. This needs a rally of sorts. When I put out this morning, I said we might come into this area, 142.17, and this top over here, which is 142.24. 142.17 is an old monthly top from back in time, and day resistance there at 142.24. Now that we're hitting day support, I will just be sitting on my hands waiting to see if this can bounce up to there, be resistance, and form a lower top. And then look to trade down towards the 62% level of the weekly pullback. All right. Now, whether or not prices are going to map out like that, I don't know, but this has had 1, 2, 3, 4 days down. I'm not going to sell on the 4th day down into day support. Okay. I want to trade with that most immediate trend that's unfolding. I need to see a rally first of all. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it like that. We can review it on Thursday to see what further transpires. Now, you might be very bullish on the dollar yen and think, well, support's just going to hold now and we're going to move further up long term from here. And that could well happen. So then, you know, go to a lower time frame, like a 50-minute chart, and look for a very tight entry and get yourself long. All right, that might offer you a very tight entry. And if that is the low of the move, then, you know, it's happy days if that's your thought process. I just think maybe we're looking at a deeper move as we're seeing the US dollar selling off and other pairs moving up to the US dollar. So we might need, you know, a normal correction on the weekly scale back down to the 62% level maybe. All right, let's have a look at gold. Somebody else wants me to look at the pound New Zealand, so I will have a look at that. Gold. Now, we're moving back above this weekly area of support. And whilst we might have this triple top in play, we also have this weekly range the opposite way. And you see that's 62% pullback to weekly supports. Depending on what side of the market you want to trade on in your own viewpoint, we could be moving up like so. All right. So has all this just been corrective against this move up this way? I did say we could be pulling down to this imbalance here. Haven't quite got to that. If we look at that on the day chart, we've been a fraction short. Got a fraction short of coming into that area, but then the trend on the day chart is now up. So now you've got the daily and the weekly trend up. So I think now, just from a higher time frame look, you're looking for price to just pull back to weekly support and attack weekly resistance like so. So if we just break down the day chart fibs here, currently we're getting into the profit phase of the current fib movement. that's how I mapped it out. I just said come up a bit and then pull back because the 127 extension's there. So if we can move up to 127 extension, then I would be drawing my fib across that range. That's approximately where the 127 is. This is how it looks on the 4 hour. That's the 127 area from that day chart. We put it, that's the day chart current fib range here. All right, so we pull back to 79. So maybe we come up to the 127 extension. And then, because we're in the profit phase here of the current fib move wave, and then do we pull back? Sorry, I got the wrong tool. Then do we pull back to the 62 weekly support? For then a move up to 127 extension, which overlaps with your weekly resistance, like so. So you can watch to see whether that maps out like that. In any event, where price is right now, it's in the profit-taking phase of the current upward move. So don't get caught at the top of the move. Wait for your pullback. Okay, that's my viewpoint on gold there. I see you want me to look at the pound New Zealand. And find it. All right, so we're in an uptrend. Monthly trends can obviously run a long way, but I can just see, I just note there that we're at the 127 extension there of the monthly upward move using the fib tool. Weekly trend is up. Got some weekly resistance over here. There's a bit of room to there. There's a good 150 pips approximately to there. It's right at daily resistance there at the moment. $209. I mean, everything's in a trend at the moment on all time frames, overextended on the 4 hour. I mean, if you're looking to get long, I don't know what you're looking to do or what you're doing, but it's overextended at the moment. So if you're looking for a long, I would be looking for a pullback, monitor the 4 hour range, because that's overextended at the moment. It pulling back to this little area, this little basing area that's just here. Once the 62 level there, 207.32. If price doesn't continue up, that could be a very good area of support. To move up. Yeah, but taking a trade so close to where we're at in terms of daily resistance is not a bright idea. I don't know what you're doing, but are you long, you're short? What are you doing? You're short. I mean, the day trend, the weekly trend is up here, okay? I may have said the day trend is up, but I was looking at the candles. We're coming up from a lower bottom, but quite clearly this is coming up very strongly. If that trades above that high, really any downtrend that you might be conceiving of, because that's the lower bottom, is negated. And that 4 hour trend at the moment is coming up nice and strong. So, it takes out that high. I don't see a reason to be short anymore. So certainly monitor, that's at 20.90. Moving above there, it's 31 pips away at the moment, isn't good for any short. So you can monitor that. But I mean, if that did come up from a lower bottom, if it came up to, I don't know how you're trading it, maybe you're trading it because you thought maybe there's a head and shoulder pattern here, which is valid. That could have been a head and shoulder pattern just there. Stop above the high. But if it trades above the high, that head and shoulder pattern then is no longer valid. So trades above, 10 pips above 2090, or is it 20900? I should say the right number, 20900. That head and shoulder pattern then's negated, really. So I'll just have to monitor that, but it's looking strong at the moment. I mean, you could be lucky, it might pull up short of there. So your stop set's 0930, so you're just like 30 pips above there. Well, if it goes 30 pips above there, I think that's enough to say you're wrong, and you'll just have to move to the next trade. All right. Of course, the New Zealand to US dollar is kind of moving down, and the pound dollar is moving up, so it's not helping the pound New Zealand in any stretch of the imagination, is it? You're dealing with a very strong pound at the moment. So, if this can't take out that high today, and the New Zealand interest rates come out tomorrow positive for the New Zealand dollar, that might just save you bacon. You'll just have to wait and see. But all right, good luck with that one. Yeah, as you say, you might be wrong because the weekly trend is clearly up. And, if we just break it down, the weekly trend, the weekly trend is up here, higher bottom, higher top, higher bottom, higher top. This 1 week down is where the downtrend has formed on the daily, but it's just 1 week down on the weekly, and then it might be having a week up this week. And if it is, the day chart trend just turns down to have a week down, and then it immediately turns back up when we have a week up. That's maybe what's happening there. All right. Any more questions? Anybody? While you're thinking of a question or not, I'll just head over to the webinar page and just let you know. Tomorrow, I'm going to go through MACD indicator, trend and divergence, go through the concepts of that with the MACD indicator. We have the Inner Circle webinar following. If you want to get on the mic and ask questions about your trading, all right, you can have that opportunity there. All right. All right, so Inner Circle is for our clients, and we're also opening it up for non-clients to, come in and listen to us talking to clients in their trading and getting them on the mic. And if you want to, and if we've got time, we'll get as many other people on the mic as well. Don't be shy. If you'd like to talk to me about your trading, get some help with anything to do with trading. If you've got a couple of trades that you would like to have reviewed that you've been in, you just have to shout out what the trades were. We can bring it up on the charts and go through, and I'll give you my perspective of what you were doing, see if I can help you. So that's at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. And then more analysis on Thursday, the 13th. Well, it's not quite Friday the 13th, but it's Thursday the 13th. All right, that's what's coming up from me this week. Right, so I'll leave you with that. Just be very aware it is a very highly volatile couple of trading days coming ahead with the New Zealand interest rate decision at noon tomorrow, US CPI data at 10:30 p.m. tomorrow, and then Canadian, where are we? Here we are, New Zealand dollar noon, Wednesday, US CPI 10:30 p.m. on the evening, and then 12 a.m. Thursday, midnight Canadian interest rate decision. I'm not getting in the way of any of those events tomorrow. Any trades that I might have, I will probably have it all shut down by CPI time. I'll have to reassess the next day. or reassess after the data comes out. Okay, everybody, thanks very much. Hopefully you're having a good start to the week. And if you have the time, look forward to seeing you some further juncture in the week and another webinar if you have the time. Okay, everybody, thanks very much.